Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we have got the following list of topics to discuss. So let's start. So the first news I was saying about the health workers died of COVID-19. Okay. So the union government is contradicting itself on the numbers of health workers, including doctors who died while fighting COVID-19 in the past 2.5 years. Rupees 487 crore has been distributed as insurance compensation under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package, okay, which is directly going to some of the 974 healthcare workers who died fighting the pandemic, and 50 lakh is given to each healthcare worker. So we can see around 206 were doctors and around 768 health workers, including nurses, community workers, and other staffs who died or who have lost their livelihoods during their period of COVID because of the versatile role of COVID that we have seen in the recent times. So basically, if I see about this COVID-19, it directly is spreading via the airborne droplets, that is sneeze or cough or contact with the respective surface. So if I see about the possibility that a person can get COVID-19 by touching a surface or an object that has the virus on it and then touching their own nose, eyes or mouth. So India is very much vulnerable to such number of diseases because of its large population, okay, which is constantly traveling as well as working in various number of urban agglomerations such as Delhi, NCR, Mumbai, okay. So we can see that in a country also we have got a very poor public hygiene in our country, okay. Despite the movement of Swachh Bharat, despite the movement of Clean India, we still do not consider or we do not directly meet the requirements of a good hygiene. So as many people spit and sneeze openly on the roads, okay, we can see the dirtiest reservoirs of the viruses in every part of this country. Okay, so we see about the super spreader capacity of this respective disease. Okay, and that means an infected person with high infectivity can also infect 100 in no time periods. Okay, also we have got less education, less literacy level about this pandemic, about going with the rumors on social media, because as we grapple with the global COVID-19 anxiety and fear, unfortunately people tend to rely on social media platforms where rumors spread faster than virus. Okay, though India directly have taken various steps to contain it, okay, to also delay it by going for various number of social distancing strategies. Okay, so today since the vaccines are more, okay, so abhi yahan pe bola gaya hai ki like the people who were very much engaged because of the poor qualities of even the kit-ups, okay, जो doctors, जो nurses, जो technicians पहन के अंदर जाते हैं, ठीक है, तो whole process of such number of PPE kits, okay, तो that's were also very much of faulty in nature, वहां पे भी corruption होता है, तो उसी की वजह से भी we can see various number of doctors as well as nurses as various number of people directly lost their livelihoods, और उसी का ही रिपोर्ट में ये वाला बोला गया है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं, saying about the IGUEZ scheme, okay, तो यहाँ पे इंदिरा गांधी अर्बन एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम. So recently, this things was in news because the Rajasthan Chief Minister directly launched a scheme on the lines of MG Narega. Okay, MG Narega, which provides, it provide क्या करता है MG Narega? It provides 100 days of employment to families in urban areas. Okay, तो अभी ये जो इंदिरा गांधी अर्बन एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम, इसका एम क्या है? It is to provide an economic support to the poor and needy families living in the cities through work to be provided on demand for 100 days in a year. ओके, तो ये कौन सा सेक्टर कवर करेगा? इट विल कवर द सेक्टर्स ऑन एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन, वाटर कंजर्वेशन, हेरिटेज कंजर्वेशन, मेंटेनेंस ऑफ गार्डन्स, रिमूवल ऑफ एनक्रोचमेंट्स, illegal signboards, hoardings and banners, and sanitation will also be undertaken. So today if I see about the eligibility, so it is around 18 to 16 years of age. Okay, and if I say about the registration process of such number of schemes, I can directly say that a Jan Aadhaar card or its registration slip is required, and it can be done in various number of e-mitra centers, means very much of online process. Okay, ये e-mitra कौन है? It means electronic mitra, electronic dost. Supposedly कहीं एक कंप्यूटर स्टेशंस में जाके जहाँ पे ये सब इंटरनेट अवेलेबिलिटीज है, लोगों को थोड़ा बहुत नॉलेज है अबाउट कंप्यूटर सिस्टम्स, अबाउट ईज मैकेनिज्म्स, तो यहाँ पे क्या है? सो द बजटरी एलोकेशंस हैज बीन अराउंड 800 करोड़, ओके, इस प्रोग्राम के लिए. So why this program is started by the Rajasthani government? Because we can see to counter the inflation, okay, because any family that wants to increase their income at a time of high inflation could seek jobs on the rate. Also, it will directly improve the standard of living. Supposedly, if I say that this may also render some of the improvements, क्योंकि जब लोगों के पास पैसा रहेगा तो वो लोग खर्चेंगे बचा, और जब खर्चेंगे ज्यादा देन ऑब्वियसली दे आर एडिंग इनटू द इकोनॉमी इटसेल्फ। इकोनॉमी तो ऐड होगा ही होगा, उनका लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड भी क्या होगा, इंक्रीज होगा। Okay. Also, when I see about this COVID, when the employment crisis increased during this COVID pandemic, the MG Narega proved to be a boon for the people who were very much of unemployed. So Rajasthan government said that nearly 40,000 people will be getting employment on the very first day of this respective scheme. ओके तो इनके साथ और ज्यादा दो तीन स्कीम्स भी है राजस्थान में, बहुत फेमस है, विच इज नोन एज द चिरंजीवी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस स्कीम. Okay, here the state government has made treatment free under the Chiranjeevi scheme so that the poor do not need to sell their belongings to get the treatment done. Also, we see about the Rajasthani government smartphone distribution. The government will give various smartphones with 3 years of free internet connections to around 1.35 crore women. ओके ये भी हम लोग जेंडर डिस्पैरिटी को खत्म करने के लिए, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट को बढ़ाने के लिए हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं. देन ऑल्सो वी सी अबाउट द महात्मा गांधी इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल्स. सो इसमें क्या होता है, टू प्रोवाइड एजुकेशन टू चिल्ड्रन इन इंग्लिश मीडियम, नॉट इन द लोकल लैंग्वेज. ओके, इसके बाद वी सी अबाउट द सैनिटरी नैपकिन्स. ओके, लड़की को जो ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ द मेंस्ट्रुएशन साइकिल, ओके, सो बिकॉज ऑफ यूज ऑफ सम नंबर ऑफ अनहेल्दियर क्लोथ्स, ओके, नॉट हाइजीनिक कंडीशंस में ये लोग जाके यूज करते हैं, तो उसमें से बहुत बीमारियां होती हैं. ओके, यू कैन सी द मूवी पैडमैन व्हिच डायरेक्टली से फोरकास्ट अबाउट सच थिंग्स. So this sanitary napkins will be distributed to women for free within this sanitary napkin scheme. Also, एक नया उस this राजस्थानी गवर्नमेंट में एक स्कीम है which is known as कुच्ची बस्तीस. Okay, कुच्ची बस्तीस. तो ये क्या है? It talk about the problems faced by the people living in the slums and said the state government will regularize the kuchi bastis. Okay, so in this kuchi bastis you can see that people maximally here lives within the slums, and since we know about the slums which are like क्या होता है ये, like slums बहुत unorganized होते हैं. Okay, public hygiene वहां पे maintain नहीं होता है. ठीक है, तो in this kuchi bastis the government is very much focused to directly go for a rapid development or a rapid supply of various number of facilities or basic amenities which are very much required for women, for children, okay, even going in for education. तो ये सब जगह गवर्नमेंट कुछ करना चाहता है so that we can directly uplift the conditions that is very much necessary for a rural people, for a slum people directly to come to the mainstream India. Okay, तो यहाँ पे कुछ ही बस्तीज के पीछे में ओके यहाँ पे फोकस किया गया है which basically talks about the slums and improving and regularizing their respective basic amenities. Okay, तो राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट आज ये सब क्यों कर रहे हैं? Because today you see that every state, okay, being with the country of India, being the central government, being the state government, they have to think about the concept of the welfare state. Because if I see about the welfare state is क्या? Welfare state क्या होता है? It is a concept of the government where the state plays an important role in the protection and promotion of the economical and social welfare of the citizens. क्योंकि पॉलिटिकल वेलफेयर कौन देखता है? पॉलिटिकल वेलफेयर देखता है हम लोग का फंडामेंटल राइट्स. ठीक है, तो ये सोशल और हम लोग का जो इकोनॉमिकल वेलफेयर है वो कौन देखेगा? डीपीएसपी, डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ द स्टेट पॉलिसीज. Okay, that the citizens, men, women equally have the right to an adequate means of livelihood. Okay, and therefore we have seen about various number of economic and social rights under respective articles of article 36 to 51 जो कि डीपीएसपी से बोलता है पार्ट 4 के अंदर. ओके, सपोजली राइट टू एडुकेट मींस ऑफ लाइवलीहुड ये आर्टिकल 39A के अंदर आता है. राइट अगेंस्ट इकोनॉमिक एक्सप्लॉयटेशंस ये आर्टिकल 39B के तहत आता है. राइट टू लेजर एंड रेस्ट आर्टिकल 43. ओके, राइट टू एजुकेशन आर्टिकल 41. okay, then right to maternity relief article 42, right to compulsory and free education of children article 45, right to just and human conditions article 42. तो ये सब क्या है? These are all some of the rights that has been mentioned or enshrined by in the DPSPs. Okay, which basically lays down some of the important conditions for the state to think about the welfare mechanism of its citizens. तो वही सब के बारे में यहाँ पे बोला गया है. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं. CAA challenges. ये क्या है? Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, तो Citizenship Amendment क्या है? It's a citizenship bill, so which directly says about the migrants belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christian communities from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, or Pakistan to be given Indian citizenship. Okay, so we could see that this CAA, okay, तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है एक डेट के बारे में. इसको इस डेट को याद रखना, 31 दिसंबर ऑफ 2014. तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है कि जितने भी लोग हैं 6 undocumented non-Muslim communities, जो कि मैंने बोला Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jains, Parsi और Christians, ठीक है, who were coming in from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh, okay, and who entered India before this date. इनसे पहले जितने भी आए थे सबको यहाँ पे सिटीजनशिप मिल जाएंगे. So it exempts the member of the Sikh community from any criminal cases under the Foreigners Act of 1946 and also the Passport Act of 1920. And these two acts specify punishment for entering the country illegally and staying here on expired visas and permits. So what are the associated concerns with the CSA? CAA. तो यहाँ पे क्या है? It's target a particular community. That means there are various apprehensions that the CAA, followed by a countrywide compilation of the National Register of Citizens, will even benefits the non-Muslims excluded from the proposed citizens register, while excluded Muslims will have to prove their citizenship. तो यहाँ पे targeted particular community. इसके बाद क्या बोला गया है? Issues in the Northeast. Because today if I see in the Northeast, supposedly basically in Assam, the Assam Accord of 1985 is directly violated. Because the Assam Accord of 1985 directly states that illegal migrants, irrespective of religion, heading in from Bangladesh before the time period of 25 March 1971, वहां तक हम लोग एक्सेप्ट करेंगे. लेकिन इसके बाद जो आया है 25 March 1971, they would have to be identified and will be deported. So obviously there is an estimated population of around 20 million illegal Bangladeshi migrants living in the state of Assam, and they have inably altered the demography of the states, besides putting a severe strain on the state's resource and economy. Okay, so we can see about such number thing. उसके बाद ये CAA, it's directly a discriminatory in nature. क्यों? Because India has several other refugees that includes Tamils from Sri Lanka, Hindu Rohingyas from Myanmar. They are not covered in this act. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है? Discrimination होता है. Also, it is very much difficulties in administration can be seen because it will be difficult for the government to differentiate between illegal migrants and those persecuted. Okay. Also, it directly hampers the bilateral ties because the act throws the light of the religious operation that has happening in these countries, in these three countries. Okay, and thus may worsen our bilateral ties with them. Okay, so also it is directly against our fundamental rights because critics argue that the violative of Article 14 of the Constitution and the principle of secularism enshrined in the preamble of the Constitution is directly getting. ये दो चीजें हम लोग का violation होता है. So यहाँ पे solution क्या है? See, India has been a rich civilization. Therefore, it is a noble effort to protect those who are persecuted in the neighborhood. However, the methods must be in accordance with the spirit of the Constitution. Thus, we can see that the Ministry of Home Affairs should notify the CAA rules with utmost transparency and clear the apprehension associated with the CAA within the respective citizen. तो यहाँ पे apprehensions को हम लोग को क्लियर करना पड़ेगा कि एक्चुअली में गवर्नमेंट का मोटिव क्या है और गवर्नमेंट करना क्या चाहता है और यहाँ पे लिखा क्या गया है. Okay, we should not misinterpret the actions that is directly rendered by the government to make the country united. Okay, तो वो एक अलग बात है. तो हम लोग को यहाँ पे apprehensions पे नहीं आना है. Okay, जो कि apprehension है उसको क्लियर करना है and therefore it should go with utmost transparency. यहाँ पे opaqueness हम लोग को हटाना पड़ेगा, तब जाके हम लोग ये challenges को मिटा पाएंगे. ठीक है, and also it should abide by the Constitution because the spirit of the Constitution is first in accordance with the rest number of elements. ठीक है, तो ये था. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं द ग्रेट रिटायरमेंट. तो यहाँ पे बोला गया है अबाउट द ग्रेट रिटायरमेंट ऑफ कनाडा. तो यहाँ पे कनाडा में क्या हो रहा है? टुडे वी कुड सी दैट इन दिस country of North America, that is Canada, Canada's labor force grew in August. Okay, but it fell the previous 2 months and remained smaller than before the summer as tens of thousands of people simply stopped working. More than a year after the Great Resignation took hold in the United States. United States में एक टाइम था वहां पे हम लोग का Great Resignation हुआ था. ओके, बहुत लोग रिजाइन कर दिए थे. Also today, Canada is grappling with its own grayer version, that is the Great Retirement. Because today, if you see, okay, Canada's labor force, which grew in August, okay, today it primarily stopped working. It's not that the 65 and overcrowd packing up their offices and hanging up their tool belts. A record number of Canadians aged between 55 and 64, which are directly the working ages, are now reporting they retired in the last 12 months. And this is hastening a mass exodus of Canada's mostly high-skilled workers, leaving business scrambling, helping push wages sharply higher, and threatening to further drag down the country's sagging productivity in this era. So we knew from a very long time that this wave was very much inherent, because यहाँ पे जो यूएसए यहाँ पे होता है, तो अगर यूएसए यहाँ पे है तो ऊपर ही कनाडा होता है. तो अगर नेबरिंग स्टेट में कुछ हो रहा है which directly affects the economy, which directly affects the populace, तो इसका कास्केडिंग इफेक्ट किस में रहेगा? बीच का जो पास में जो स्टेट रहता है, पास में जो रेस्पेक्टिव कंट्रीज रहते हैं, कास्केडिंग इफेक्ट रहता है. तो ये होना था, एक टाइम में यूएसए में हुआ था, अभी ये कनाडा में होना ही था. कल परसों यू कैन सी द इफेक्ट ऑफ दिस इन द नेबरिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ द यूएसए आल्सो. ओके, वेस्ट इंडीज में देख सकते हो तुम लोग, साउथ अमेरिका में देख सकते हो तुम. सो देयरफॉर द रिस्क that one have towards every sectors is very much of tremendous, because today if you see that during the time periods of the pandemic, okay, जब pandemic चल रहा था, at that point of time retirements directly fail, as many Canadians decided to stay in their jobs longer, क्योंकि उस टाइम डायरेक्टली एक स्लो डाउन बन गया था. सो लोगों को नौकरी ज्यादा प्यारा था. एंड नाउ विथ restrictions being lifted, many are rushing to make up for lost time, choosing to travel and spend more time with family. And their departures are directly shrinking the labor force, which could weigh on economic growth at a time when the central bank is aggressively hiking interest rates to counter spiking inflation. So today, when we see Canada, which was ramped up in immigration to help drive economic growth, आज वहां पे कनाडा में बहुत ज्यादा बाहर के लोग, you can see about the Punjabis of our country, सब लोग कनाडा चले जाते हैं. So in this, even in this G7, we can see that a percentage of the overall population, the working age population, was mainly from the outsiders. So today, if you see that there are around 307,000 Canadians in August who had left their jobs in order to retire at some point in the last year. So today, if you see that this increase is very much of higher. According to a problem, more than 620,000 Canadians entered the 65 age category during the pandemic, and a 9.7% increase in that population group despite 3 straight months of job losses. So it includes every forms, be it the nurses, be it the truckers, okay, be it the technicians, be it the engineers, be it the doctors. सब लोग वहां पे क्या कर रहे हैं? They are directly going on for retirement benefits. So आज अगर ये लोग छोड़ रहे, supposedly if I say about the truckers, drivers, the transportation industry is directly in its grappling stage. Because today, if you see, more and more number of drivers are aging and therefore retiring or contemplating different lifestyles. We could see it directly affects the transportation industry. If I see about the nurses, because of the reduced number of judges, we can see that the healthcare system is getting disrupted in this country. So therefore, we have to tackle this great retirement that is in Canada. We have to tackle this. Also, many international collaborations could also exist this country, so that more and more number of people would not retire, so that it would not lead to the collapse of the respective systems. Okay, तो ये यहाँ पे चल रहा है. Next topic पे आते हैं. North Eastern regions climate change. तो यहाँ पे क्या बोला गया है about the climate change of the North Eastern regions? किस context में बोला गया? Because according to our recent analysis, we can see that the climate of the Northeast India is changing, and also the rainfall patterns over the region in the last century have considerably changed. So today, if I see, supposedly ये मैं अगर recent इस साल के बारे में कुछ बोलूं, तो North East India normally receives a heavy rainfall. Okay, that is during the monsoon months of June to September. But its character today has been changed now. Even this year, I can directly say, because today, if I see that even the researchers directly that is directly conducting, ये बोला है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया में जितने हम लोग का रेनफॉल पैटर्न होता है, ये आज 355 मिलीमीटर घट गया, कम हो गया. ओके, अगर मैं मान लूं कि ये पहले मान लो 400 मिलीमीटर ऑफ रेनफॉल होता था जस्ट एन प्रेडिक्शन, तो आज उसमें से हम लोग का 350 घट ही जा रहा है. क्यों? जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द स्कैंटी और जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रेस्पेक्टिव कंडीशंस ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज. So today, if I say about the flood drought cycle, now has begun to happen within a year. And the rain comes in quick bursts and flood in the region, followed by elongated dry periods that brought another drought. So what is these factors which directly affects the rain pattern? I know about the moisture and drought, snowfall and excessive snowfall in Eurasian regions, okay, Pacific decadal oscillations, just like the even you can see about the El Nino things. Okay, El Nino or La Nina things, warming of the ocean, heating of the oceans. अभी फिलहाल हम लोग का में ला नीना चल रहा है. Okay, so also we could see that in this recent time period, okay, the changing rainfall pattern is also changing the flow of the rivers, the extent of snow cover, and we can even see that the health of the mountain streams, which in turn have an impact on the livelihoods, especially agriculture and fishing. So they have also got some of the economical ecosystem aspects. There is some of the evidences even that changing course of the rivers from several districts in Assam, जैसे मैं अगर बोलूं यहाँ पे लखीमपुर एंड धेमाजी, where the सुबानसिरी, दिबांग tributaries of ब्रह्मपुत्र ये है, नॉर्थ बैंक tributaries, तो ये जितने भी है, even the Brahmaputra river are changing courses in various number of unexpected ways, which leads to what? Floods. Today, even in some time period, we can even see some of the extreme rainfall events being caused by global warming, which triggers a cascade of events such as accelerated soil erosion, along with the hill slopes devoid of forest cover. And this increases the surface run of rivers and changes their respective course. So therefore, if I see about the conditions of climate change, because of the man-made conditions, because of the anthropogenic regions, because of the cutting, क्योंकि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में क्या है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में स्लैश एंड बर्न एग्रीकल्चर, जो हम लोग यहाँ पे बोलते हैं झूम कल्टीवेशन, ये बहुत ज्यादा है. So this zoom cultivation is a method where one can see that one is directly clearing up patches of land every time and goes for a new land. तो इसमें से क्या होता है, इसमें से deforestation ज्यादा होता है. So when deforestation is directly going in a more number, then there will be no recycle of the respective number of situations or atmosphere that we requires for a sustainable livelihoods. तो जब वो घटेगा, then obviously climate change will be getting impacted. तो इसका conclusion क्या है? See, one cannot be sure about the exact impact of climate change on the rainfall in the region because of the lack of data and even because of some number of credible long-term research on the same. Okay, but the data that is collected, which is not of even some of the higher quality, which means that we do not have got foolproof analysis that can be carried out. Okay, also the exact impact of climate change in the region can only be known correctly once all other natural and human-made factors have been studied and accounted for, and the residual impact can be attributed to climate change. तो वो तब बोल सकते हैं. लेकिन यहाँ पे अभी भी जो IMD चीफ बोला गया है, जो भी यहाँ पे चेंजेस मिला है, यहाँ पे हम लोग का एक्चुअल प्रूफ नहीं है कि दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई दिस एरिया इज डायरेक्टली गोइंग फॉर क्लाइमेट चेंज. लेकिन हम लोग क्या मानते हैं, यहाँ पे एंथ्रोपोजेनिक रीजन से. ओके, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल डेवलपमेंट है यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा. पहले क्या था, यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा गांव था, बैकवर्ड एरिया था, तो अभी यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, क्लियरिंग ऑफ रोड्स, रोड्स आर गेटिंग एक्सपांडेड, infrastructure abilities are getting built up. Okay, zoom cultivation still in prominence, which directly creates strong patches of land. So in सब के कारण we can see that the whole region of northeast is directly creating some number of effect towards the climate change. Okay, जहां से हम लोग देखते हैं कि टोपोग्राफी, हम लोग का जो रेनफॉल पैटर्न है, सब यहाँ पे बदल जाते हैं. Okay, so this was the region which says about the effect of climate change in the northeastern region, which even directly is changing the level of crop production in this region because of the indifference of the rainfall, because of the more prolonged period of drier seasons as compared to the wet seasons. Okay, तो यहाँ पे एक challenge face कर रहे हैं हम लोग का नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. Lastly, Chile's disaster in making. तो ये डायरेक्टली एक बात बोला गया था अबाउट द चिलेस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. तो यहाँ पे एक नया कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फ्रेम हो रहा है. ठीक है, बिकॉज टुडे इफ यू सी that recently a referendum in Chile rejected a proposal to replace the old charter with a new progressive constitution. तो इसीलिए ये न्यूज में, इसलिए इसको डिजास्टर बोला गया, क्योंकि एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अगर तुम कहीं पे भी चेंज करोगे तो डिजास्टर तो होगा ही होगा. अगर हम लोग भी अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन चेंज करने लगे तो तब पूरी दुनिया बोलेंगे कि दिस इज डायरेक्टली अ डिजास्टर, बिकॉज हम लोग के जैसा लैंडी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अगर मैं चेंज करना जाऊँ with such a amount of diversity that we have in our country, तो ये तो एक टोटल डिजास्टर बन जाएगा और अभी वो सब पास करना भी बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. ठीक है, तो therefore according to the result of this referendum we can see that 61.9% of Chile, okay, were received against the proposal for the new constitution, while around 38.1% people got the support, and the draft resolution was drafted to replace the 1980 charter, okay, written under the dictatorship of जनरल अगस्टो पिनोचेट. ओके, तो वहां पे एक जनरल था उनका, ठीक है, आर्मी जनरल, तो जनरल अगस्टो पिनोचेट, PINOCH पिनोचेट. ओके, सो उनके बेसिस पे एक चार्टर लाया गया था 1980s में, उसके बेसिस पे इनका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना है। तो चिले इज व्हाट? चिले इज अ साउथ अमेरिकन कंटिनेंट, ओके, जनरली फाउंड टुवर्ड्स द साउथ वेस्टर्न प्रोविंस ऑफ द अमेरिकन साउथ अमेरिकन कंटिनेंट। तो यहाँ पे क्या बोला गया इन द की पॉइंट्स? वी कुड सी दैट द रिजेक्शन ऑफ द रेफरेंडम्स मोशन शॉक्ड इवन प्रेसिडेंट Gabriel Boric. तो इनका अभी प्रेसिडेंट कौन है? Gabriel Boric. It's a presidential type of system that we can form. Okay, who argued that the introduction of the new constitution would usher into a new progressive era. तो यहाँ पे प्रपोजल क्या क्या डाला गया था न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में? So the president remains head of the government. However, he would share the power to submit laws involving public spendings with legislatures. Okay. तो यहाँ पे अभी शेयर क्यों करेंगे लेजिस्लेचर के साथ? क्योंकि पहले यहाँ पे प्रेसिडेंट के पास एक्सक्लूसिव पावर था टू डायरेक्टली गो फॉर सच नंबर ऑफ स्पेंडिंग्स इन्वॉल्विंग पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग्स। उसके बाद प्रेसिडेंट कुड बी रीइलेक्टेड कंसेक्यूटिवली वंस। करंटली ही कैन नॉट बी रीइलेक्टेड नॉन कंसेक्यूटिवली। ओके, मतलब अभी अगर 5 साल है तो अगले 5 साल में नहीं इलेक्ट कर सकते, उसके 5 साल में फिर से याद कर सकते। देन अभी क्या है? अभी यहाँ पे कंसेक्यूटिवली यू कैन डायरेक्टली सिलेक्ट इट वंस। Then the Congress would become an asymmetric body, which currently is a bicameral body with equal powers. तो कांग्रेस मतलब क्या? दोनों, जैसे हम लोग यूएस में बोलते हैं, तो उन लोग का यूएस के साथ बहुत ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस है। तो जैसे उनका अपर हाउस लोअर हाउस एक साथ को कांग्रेस बोलते हैं। So the direct democracy mechanisms such as popular law initiatives and citizen consultations would be followed in routine. ऐसा नहीं कि हर दम में करेंगे, हम लोग यहाँ पे रूटीन फॉलो करेंगे। Also, it would provide some of the wider social rights, including housing, health, social security, access to food and work. Okay, so also it dedicates an entire chapter to environment, that nature has rights and animals are subjects of special protection. तो यहाँ पे एनवायरमेंट के बेसिस पे ज्यादा बोला गया है। एनवायरमेंट में सब चीज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलाइज बना गया, जैसे हम लोग जानते हैं कि एनजीटी टुडे इट्स एन एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव, इट्स एन रेस्पेक्टिव स्टैट्यूटरी एक्ट, ओके, लेकिन अगर इसका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी होगा तो उसका पावर ही अलग होता, उसका मजा ही अलग होता, लेकिन टुडे इट्स डायरेक्टली स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी एंड देयरफॉर वी कैन सी सच नंबर ऑफ कंफ्यूजन हैपनिंग ओवर देयर। So under this proposed constitution, even fight against climate change would be a state duty, because it would protect the biodiversity, natural spaces and native spaces. तो जितना भी हम लोग का अभी क्लाइमेट चेंज हो रहा है, जितना भी हम लोग आज फाइट कर रहे हैं, तो दिस इज should be proposed in a constitutional manner and not through some number of executive or statutory bodies. Okay. Also, water has been classified as a non-appropriable as opposed to current constitution. Okay. So apart from this, the new constitution also provides for a state to take steps to eradicate and punish gender violence. State bodies and even the public companies have been mandated to have gender parity. Also, the state have been mandated to respect, protect, promote, and guarantee the self-discrimination, participation of indigenous groups, and collective and individual rights of the respective citizens. तो ये जितने भी हम लोग का अमेंडमेंट किया गया है, ठीक है, तो इस अमेंडमेंट के लिए we can see that the whole country is directly in crisis. ओके, तो यहाँ पे जितने भी हम लोग ने बोला था कि 61.9 people also already said that no to such number of amendments under the constitution. ओके, बस 36.1 38.1 सॉरी नॉट 36.1 38.1 ओनली क्या बोला गया है कि लाइक चलिए आप लोग अमेंडमेंट करिए, आप लोग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नया बनाइए। तो यहाँ पे वही सब ये हो रहा है। लेकिन अभी यहाँ पे जैसे रेफरेंडम किया, रेफरेंडम इज अ टाइप ऑफ डायरेक्ट डेमोक्रेसी। ओके, तो जैसे रेफरेंडम हो गया तो वहां पे 61% दैट इज द मेजोरिटी ओनली सेड दैट आप लोग मत कीजिए। ओके, बाकी 38.1% बोला है कि हाँ चले आप लोग कीजिए। तो ये तो माइनॉरिटीज में, तो ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे ये रिजेक्ट हो गया है। तो जो भी प्लान्स था प्रेसिडेंट का यहाँ पे, ओके, तो ये सब प्रेसिडेंट का फेल, जो गैब्रियल बोरिच है, तो प्रेसिडेंट का जो भी एक रेस्पेक्टिव एलिमेंट है टू चेंज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, टू चेंज द रेस्पेक्टिव पावर्स, तो ये पूरा फेलियर हो गया बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रेफरेंडम। तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे बोला गया है अबाउट चिले's disaster damage. So this was all about the analysis today. Okay, so you have got the 5 number of questions which you should attempt in the comment sections below. Okay, you will get the answers of this MCQ in the Telegram channel of us. Also, we have got a Telegram link below, so kindly join this channel. Okay, so this is one mains question associated. You can directly show me this answers practically or even through the email apps. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.